Welcome to the next part in the Deck Typology Basic series. So we've gone over basically how we're not really studying personality type, and we're studying just the foundation that you build your personality on. And we've also gone over the cognitive functions and how they create a function stack. And now we're going to go over how two functions link together. These are function links. So it's always this is just a simple rule to remember. It's always a perceiving function and an output function that link together to make one of these function links. But this is from objective personality. This is my main source here. This is based on their animal system. All of these function links are based off of an objective personality animal. I'm going to name them, and I'm going to put the link for their channel in the description. Go and check them out if you're interested. They've got a really interesting system, and that's where I get this idea from. So I don't think this is my idea, this is objective personality's idea. So let's jump into what those links are. So the first of the function links that we are going over today is what I'm doing to you just now, and that is creation, or the objective personality animal name for that is blast. And creation is an introverted perception function, so that can either be introverted sensing or introverted intuition. Remember that introverted sensing is the facts that you know, and introverted intuition is the concepts and the patterns that you see in yourself. Okay? And that is pairing it up with an extroverted output function. And that can either be extroverted feeling or extroverted thinking. Remember that extroverted thinking is just creating external systems to be used out in reality that people can use and will work for everyone else. Extroverted feeling is creating value for someone else and making something that someone will like. What creation is doing is that it's basically just taking your known sort of information, your NI idea, your NI concept, or your SI fact, or your SI sort of observation, and putting it together in a way that someone will either understand or work for them in a TE sense, or something that we will like and value in an FE sense. So that is what creation is. That's the first and probably one of the more obvious function links in this system. So next we have the opposite of that, which is study. So study is an extroverted perception process linking into an introverted output process. So that essentially just means that it's something like extroverted sensing or extroverted intuition. Remember that extroverted sensing is looking out into the sort of grand wide scope of the world and grabby hands trying to get a hold of all of the facts they can find. Whereas extroverted intuition is looking out into the outside world and is kind of grabby hands trying to get the ideas, concepts, and connections they can find. And that links into the introverted output, which can either be introverted thinking or introverted feeling. Remember that introverted thinking is finding a system and a logical sort of pathway of reasoning that works for you, that works for the individual. And introverted feeling is finding a value system or some type of value, or some type of moral sort of way of seeing things or whatever that works for you, that you personally value and like and see as valuable. So what study is doing is that it's taking in information from reality for the purpose of allowing you to understand and allowing you to sort of really get it for yourself, or really get into it, and you can really feel it, or you can really know it. And that links into creation, because what you study is what will become your SI or your NI. If it's SE, it'll become your NI. If it's NE, it'll become your SI. So that'll become that, and that'll eventually become part of what you go and do your creation process on. So let's get on to the second one. So there's only two of them left. So let's do the really extroverted one. Let's do grind. And grind is an extroverted perception process and an extroverted output process. So let's just do an example. So it's SE or NE. So let's go with SE, and FE or TE. Let's go with TE. So what they are doing, what grind is doing, is that it's completely outer world focused, completely focused on what is actually happening, what is observable, and what they can do to sort of impact reality. Their motivation to impact reality could be for it to work for people. For example, they want something to work for people, and the fact is that they're seeing is that something isn't working for people, so they're going to go and do what they can to sort of get the thing to work for people. And that is grind. It's an unawareness of the introverted side of the sort of spectrum of yourself. It's disregarding that and focusing purely on getting actual results in real life that actually impact the physical world that they can see through their their extroverted perception process, and using that as sort of a motivation to fix what they see as the problem through their extroverted output process. Not really focusing on do they think it's valuable or do they think it'll work for them, just fixing it, basically going on the grind culture, basically. So not always the best thing, not always the worst thing. If you only did one of these things, you would really mess yourself up. So let's go on the other opposite extreme of that, which is called reflection. Reflection is your introverted perception process and your introverted output process. So you're sort of introverted, but more really introverted, not really seeing the outer world or whatever, just seeing you as a person. So it's going to see your SI or your NI, and it's going to go and see if it actually really does link up to your TI or your FI. And it's sort of just, it's literally reflecting and going over what you've already seen, what you've already sort of, the connection that you see or the fact that you see, and does it actually connect with you or does it not? And that's reflection. Now I noticed that I didn't mention the animals for those last two. The animal in objective personality for grind is play, and the animal for reflection and objective personality is sleep. Basically, that's all the function links are. It's essentially what am I seeing and what is my motivation for doing something. And everyone has, much like a function stack, they will have a function link stack kind of thing. And they will have a comfort zone function link, and they will have a black hole function link, and they will have two supporting function links in the middle, the same way as the function stacks do. So let's take, for example, that type that I did not forget from the last video. Let's take the second example, which if you guys know in MBTI, it's an INFJ, but the last function was SE, the first function was NI, and the two supporters were FE and TI. So let's just say that they prefer their TI over their FE because they can do that in this system. And what function link will they have first? Well, NI is their comfort zone, so that has to be part of their first function link, and TI is their preferred supporter. You would get reflection as your first function, as your first sort of, the first function link. So that's what you would get as the first sort of function link. You would then go, what is the opposite of reflection? That's grind. Therefore, you're going to have grind as your black hole. That would be sort of that sort of way of doing it. You could also have study as the black hole function link, because study still has the sort of black hole function in it. If it has the black hole function in it, there's a chance it can be the black hole function link. Unlike the functions where there's only one black hole function, there's always two function links that will have your comfort zone and your black hole. The ones that will have your black hole can both be your black hole function link. The ones that both have your comfort zone can be your comfort zone function link. So for example, it could be creation in that INFJ, or it could be reflection, in the same way that the black hole one could be study, or it could be grind. Well, it would have creation and study, essentially, and you can flip them over if you want to, because they're supporting ones. They are not necessarily, you can have, it can be reflection, it can be creation, it can be study, and it can be grind, in the same way that it can be, reflection, study. I've genuinely just forgotten what the one was. Creation and grind. It can be the same thing. So that is what the function links are. Again, I'm linking to objective personality and in the little iCard above. For their explanation on the animals, I'll link to some other videos that explain the animals, because I don't think that's on their YouTube channel. So yeah, that's that. That's the function links, and we're almost done. We're just going to go over the last thing, which is the most important for deck typology, which is the card flips next time and the out of hand, or what you guys in socionics might know as your shadow function stack. So let's not put you off, because that's a day. You've got this to consume if you really want it. So yeah, that is the function links. This video has been way too long. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.